What's going on, Birdland? Stephen Heckman here for the Final Strike podcast, coming to you with our next episode representing the Baltimore Battery. Where do we start? I mean, seriously, where do we start? We had a game against the Milwaukee Brewers where we actually look like the team we are supposed to be. We were focused. We were 5 for 9 with runners in scoring position over the last 5 innings. Adley Rutschman had a home run that was just an angry swing. You could tell frustration was taken out in that string. And then we get rained out yesterday, which gives us a chance to rest some, especially in the middle of a 16-game stretch. And what happens today? Cade Povich goes out there and pitches his guts out. 5 innings, leaves with a 2-1 lead. And our bullpen turns into absolute crap after that. And to make matters worse, after Gregory Soto, Sir Anthony Dominguez, and Sionel Perez went from a 2-1 deficit into a 6-2. We were in a 2-1 lead. It went to a 6-2 deficit. And from there, then it went to an 11-3 deficit. I have never, in my entire life of watching baseball, seen a winning team put a position player into a game to close the game out. And that's just today. I'm not even talking about before today right now, outside of the one Milwaukee game. I'm talking about today. I don't get it. I don't understand. It's like for the first part of the game when Cade Povich was pitching, I even mentioned it during our chat in the Baltimore Battery, how focused and how relaxed we seemed, and we're just playing the game of baseball that got them to where they were. And then it's like Povich leaves and was like, all right, it's over. Then they tie the game. Then Devers hits a 3-run home run. And you could just see everything just deflate. Like everything just disappeared. All the focus, all the fundamental determination, all the excitement, all the just relax. It turned into a tense, fundamentally unsound, pathetic showing from a team that should be leaps and bounds better than they were last year. I mean, I don't even know what to say here. Mike Elias comes out the other day, finally, after the firing of Brandon Hyde, and proceeds to say that, he's got to start thinking outside of his own personal situation, what's best for the team. What the hell does that even mean? Shouldn't that have been what you were doing before this? Shouldn't you have been doing what's best for the team before this? I mean, something's not adding up. You're telling me before this you were just doing what's best for you, not for the team? I can only defend Mike Elias so much, but when you make a comment like that, I've got to do what's best for the team outside of my own personal situation. What is your personal situation? What were you doing before then that made you not think of what's best for the team? Brandon Hyde became a scapegoat this year. Yes, Brandon Hyde was an issue. Not all the issues, but he was an issue. Mike Elias was an issue. Now, I have people arguing, telling me that he was the main problem, but he wasn't. I'm sorry, he was not. Yes, he does deserve some blame, but not all the blame. I'm sorry. And this thing where people are like, well, he should have been prepared for a loss of pitchers. You go in with 8 possible people who should be in your rotation. 8 possible people. And you lose them all by the first week of the season, pretty much. How does it make sense? Make it make sense. How do you prepare for that? Then to make matters worse, you lose Colton Cowser. Then after that, it's Jordan Westberg. I mean, really, it baffles me that the excuses all on everybody else, and yet the players seem to be getting away with this. And I'm not saying it's all the players' fault, but Brandon Hyde can only put the players on the field. Mike Elias can only get the players to the field or to the team to be put on the field. They can't make them perform. And then I hear comments like, well, if they're not going to commit to their players, if they're not going to commit to their team or the players that are core of the team, why should these players try? Because it looks better when you are actually performing. It's going to help your contract in the future. I mean, you're talking difference of $100 million potentially, the way contracts are going out now. I mean, seriously. Anthony Santander being, I keep hearing people say that we let him walk. We didn't let him walk. We offered him a contract. He wanted a longer-term deal. We didn't want to give it to him. It's plain as that. 3-year contract for a 30-year-old power hitter. It's pretty good. Longer than that, you're basically gambling. And I know every contract's a gamble, but look at our history with long-term contracts. Chris Davis, Mark Trumbo, both power hitters. Look what happened to them. Then you want to go to pitching. Alex Cobb, Ubaldo Jimenez. Look what happened with them. So, yes, there is trepidation and a little bit of hard line stances that maybe should not have been done. Maybe they should have. Who knows? But Anthony Santander is not blowing the world away in Toronto. He's batting 188. He does have 6 home runs and 18 RBIs, but he's batting 188. Tyler O'Neill's doing a little bit better than that. He doesn't have the home runs, but we can't even keep him on the field. As is right now, it's based off what I'm seeing already. We know Manzolini's not going to be here next year as the manager. We know that. He's an interim. That's it until we get to the offseason. At this point, we're at the 1/3 mark of the season. It's time to start building the team for next season. That's it. We ain't going to make the playoffs. And yes, I said we ain't because that's about the best way to put it. The way our team looks right now, proper grammar doesn't even fit. There are so many words that can come to the English language right now that don't fit how this team is performing. I just don't understand how we look so fundamentally lost. I just can't get it. Getting rid of Brandon Hyde was supposed to be a spark that helped this team get better or ignite a spark that would put a fire under these guys' asses. We've won 1 game since. And we've looked pretty crappy in every game we've lost. In 2017, when we won 46 games, yeah, it was disturbing. It was upsetting. It wasn't as frustrating as this. And the reason being is because we already knew what was happening. Buck Showalter's contract wasn't getting renewed. Dan Duquette's contract wasn't getting renewed. It was over. The Buck Showalter, Dan Duquette time was over. Manny Machado was being traded. Jonathan Scope was being traded. Zach Britton was being traded. I mean, anybody that we could get anything for was being traded. But at least we understood what was going on. Then after that, where we had to endure 3 seasons of 108 plus losses, in between a COVID season that was truncated to 60 games, but we had to sit there and endure that. We at least knew what was going on. We didn't have to like it. We didn't like it, but it was exciting to see what was happening in the minors and what would our future be. 2022 came out of nowhere. It was a surprise. We were ahead of where we were supposed to be in the rebuild. So a lot of people are counting 2022 as the arrival of the rebuild, their completion. No, I don't. I count 2023 when we won 101 games. We surprised everybody. We overachieved, and we showed the world that we have the talent to compete and take on the AL East. From 2022 to 2024, we had the best record in the AL of any team. 2024, I expected a little bit of regression, and we did fight. We were there in the AL East division possibility until the last 2 weeks of the season. Made it into the postseason. Unfortunately, we got swept in the first round. Previous season, we got swept in the second round. We never played in the first round because we had a bye. We're currently 0 for 10 in the postseason, 0 for our last 10 in games. And it was the Kansas City Royals who started that when we got swept in the ALCS 4-0. So we are at a point where there's got to be something that is going to ignite these players' emotions. Only so much can be put on the front office, the ownership group, the coaches. Only so much. And see, I'm one of those people, I'm an old school guy. Yeah, managers can take the downfall. I've seen Buck Showalter take the downfall many a times on teams that he helped build and then be relieved to watch that team go and win a World Series. Billy Martin, I don't know how many times he was in and out of the Yankees as a manager. I've seen it. I've seen too many times where the managers get blamed for what is happening on the field. There is a responsibility that, as a manager, you must take and that you're possibly going to have to deal with. That is the line. It's a job that you're never secure in. And that's the thing. You are never secure in your job as a manager. Look at how quickly it's flipped for us. Right now, if we win 50 games this year, I will be shocked. With the way we're playing, I will be totally shocked if we win 50 games. I expect to see the attendance to plummet at Camden Yards because why would you want to pay all this money to go out and see your team get embarrassed? There's a post on social media today, and I kind of questioned it a little bit, that Masson caught a Orioles fan with a bag on his head. And because Masson saw that, the Orioles front office called down to security and had them go to the guy and have him remove it. Now, here's why I question this story a little bit. If this was at Camden Yards, I might believe it a little bit more. But the security team that's at Fenway Park works for the Boston Red Sox, not the Baltimore Orioles. So our front office calling down, telling them to go have a fan remove a bag from their head, how does that even work? That's something that the league would get involved in because the security team does not take orders or things like that from the opposing team. And honestly, if I was a fan, I'd have my face covered because right now there's nothing to be excited to be an Orioles fan. Cade Povich pitched his ass off today. You're seeing the kid mature in front of our eyes. A pitcher that Mike Elias traded for, a minor league pitcher, is maturing and becoming what he's supposed to be. 25 games into his career. He doesn't even have 200 innings under his belt. And the kid's figuring it out each start. And he looks better. Still got to control the walks a little bit. But he does. He looks better. I just don't know what the answer is right now. Are you saying because other players are getting contract extensions that we need to go extend one of these or two of these players and that's going to change everybody's fortune? Who knows? If that's what a team is comprised of, players getting upset because other people are getting contracts that they're not getting yet, you don't have a team. You have individuals. And I'm sorry, too many of these players came up through the minor league system together for me to think that that's what we're at. I just don't understand. I come out here weekly trying to think of a way to spin this into a positive thing, trying not to get as frustrated and angry as I am when I watch these games. I mean, I was so disgusted today, I couldn't even turn the game off. I wanted to see how bad it was gonna get, and then it became comical because all of a sudden, they put in a position player and we start scoring some runs, and it's like, "Oh my god, don't tell me this might happen." I mean, I know it wouldn't, but it's funny, as soon as we were down in the game, in the 6th inning, I actually messaged the group chat in Baltimore Battery, I said, "That's it, game's over." Because we don't believe we can come back anymore. Our victory against the Milwaukee Brewers the other day, it was the first comeback win since August 23rd of last year. It was the first come from behind extra inning win since July of 2022, if I'm correct on that. I think it's July of 2022. Or 23, I'm sorry, July of 23. I we're not hitting the ball like we're supposed to. I mean, we have players in our lineup. Cedric Mullins is leading our team with 10 home runs. I'm not saying he's not capable of doing that, but he's not our home run leader. Like, you're supposed to have Gunnar Henderson. You're supposed to have Ryan O'Hearn. You're supposed to have Adley Rutschman. Colton Cowser and Jordan Westburg are out right now, but you have Heston Kjerstad in there. You're supposed to, these are players that were supposed to be able to carry this team. When one goes down, it shouldn't be the end of the world. And what's funny is Cowser and Westberg were both would feed off each other. They were the goofballs. They would feed off each other, joke around and everything. And it seemed to be the levelness that this team needed. And that's what's funny. So, Jordan Westberg should be getting ready to start his rehab assignment within the next week or two. Colton Cowser should probably be the same. So when these two return, if our team starts winning, you're going to tell me that's how important Colton Cowser and Jordan Westberg are to this team, that it's not Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson that we've been brought up to see and cheer and have revered them as the leaders of this team. And nothing against Cowser or Westberg. I love them both. I think they're phenomenal ball players. I actually picked Jordan Westberg to be the most valuable Oriole this year. But are you here to tell me that those two are the missing link to this team? That the superstar all-world Gunnar Henderson, the all-around top catcher, are not the leaders we thought they were? I mean, you got Ryan Mountcastle, who's been here the longest now. He easily should be one of the leaders of this team. His power numbers are way down, but he just ended a 19-20 game on-base streak. So, I mean, at least he was doing something. I just don't know. I'm frustrated. I'm angered. I'm disgusted. And I hate to say that because I've seen some awful baseball throughout my time as an Orioles fan. The 0-21 team didn't look this dysfunctional. Back in 88 when we started 0-21, it didn't look this dysfunctional. In 2017, the 46-win team did not look this dysfunctional. While we were losing 108 plus games, we did not look this dysfunctional. How do you fix dysfunction? Start getting rid of people? That's just going to make people worry about it doing their job then. We tried a manager change. So far, that's gone down the toilet like a wad of toilet paper. I just don't know. I don't know where to go from here. And it's hard. It's just hard to sit here and watch this and to read this and then to hear the responses from the players that they know what's going on, that they know what they need to fix. Well, then why aren't we doing it? There's something off with this team. I've been saying that there's no leader on the field. And I still believe that because right now it looks like there's no leader on that field. Tell me, Birdland, what do you think? Where should we go from here? What should we do from here? What is the next step? I've heard people say get rid of Elias, but how do you fire a GM in the middle of the season? Who's going to operate the team? Sid Mendenhall's not. He's definitely not in a position to do it. You're not going to find somebody to come in the middle of a season and do it. It's bad enough you got to line up a manager right now. You got to worry about contracts. Colton Cowser returns. Jordan Westberg returns. You know, Emmanuel Rivera is going to go down. Dylan Carlson's going to go down when Tyler O'Neill returns. So, is it Mateo? When Mateo's on base, he's exciting, but when he's at bat, 196, 186, ain't going to cut it. Ramon Urias deserves to be here. On most teams in the league, he would be a starter. And he just comes out and does his job daily. So tell me, Birdland, where do you think we go from here? What do we do? Do we pack in the season and just let our players play and start preparing for next season, making trades and signings that'll, get us to next season and change our fortunes that have happened this season? What do you think? Let me know. Post comments. Give me questions, respond in some way. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to be able to sit here next week and go over these and, give some answers or give some thoughts or, what your all's opinions are. It definitely would make it, I'd like to see how other people feel, what other people are thinking here, because I can't be the only one that is this frustrated and disgusted. I know in the Baltimore Battery I'm not. I definitely know I'm not the only one there, but I see social media and I'm not sure if people are just irrationally making comments and posts or if this is really where they're at, if this is the thought that they're definitely stuck on. I want to know. I want to hear from you all. So you should be able to leave comments here at the end of this post. I'm on YouTube. You should be able to comment there. Please make sure you subscribe. That way you can make sure when the new podcast comes out and clips come out, you get notifications. But I definitely want to hear from you all. It definitely intrigues me and interests me to know if other people feel or see the things that I'm seeing. What thoughts you all have or what are you seeing that I might not be seeing and vice versa. So let me know. We're going to end here because right now, if I keep going, I'm just going to make myself more nauseated and sick about all this. And I don't want to. It's hard. I still love the Orioles. I still love my team. I still want the best for this team, but it's getting very hard to watch and go through all this. So make sure you hit me up. You can find me on TikTok at SRJ Heckman. Instagram, the same thing. X, formerly Twitter, the same thing. And YouTube, the same thing. I'm on all those. Also, anywhere that you get any podcasts, we are available. We're on 9 different sites that host podcasts, so you should be able to get us anywhere. I want to thank everybody who supports us and everybody throughout the world who supports us. We're actually been reached in Japan, Switzerland, Germany, Canada, and North America. So 5 countries we're in, which is great. I love that, but I want to hear from people. I want to know what you all are thinking. Also, want to make sure you head over to the BaltimoreBattery.com. I know it's a little hard to want to read anything pertaining to the Orioles right now because there's not much positivity to read about, but head on over there because our team does work their ass off there. And they do a wonderful job. We do everything we can to get information to you all as quick as possible and keep you updated as much as we can. So head over to the BaltimoreBattery.com. Make sure you give them a follow on Twitter, formerly of X, and on TikTok, which is at the Be More Battery. So giving them a big shout out because I wouldn't be here without them either. So without you all, without Baltimore Battery, I wouldn't be here. Give a big shout out to the Scooters for Rent team because without them, we wouldn't be here either. So you ever in Maryland, Delaware, Eastern Shore area, make sure you give them a shout if you're looking for mobility equipment, from mobility scooters, manual, beach, and electric wheelchairs to sleeping lift recliners. Give them a shout at 302-280-6203. Tell them Stephen from The Final Strike sent you. And last but not least, want to give a big shout out to Dubby. This is an energy drink that is sweeping the energy drink area. There's no jitters, sugar-free, all-natural ingredients. Great for pre-workout, great for pre-gaming. Great when you hear me ranting about the Baltimore Orioles. But you head over to dubby.gg, all right? dubby.gg. Pick yourself up a sampler pack so you can find out what's yours that you like. It comes with a shaker, and it comes with usually 5 different flavors that you can try. It's usually right around $20. But if you type in my name at checkout, Stephen R. Heckman, which is Stephen R. and then Heckman, Heckman, you can get 10% off your order. You can also buy it in tubs. You can get yourself shakers. They have hats. They have t-shirts. But make sure you get yourself your W on today. And until next time, Birdland, hopefully the feathers turn, the sun starts shining brighter on us, and the baseball gods give up on holding us hostage in this siege of unpleasantness. Until next time, Birdland, keep that beer cold. Thanks for all the support. Peace out.